Maurice.
What's
How
up?
are you?
Doing okay?
Good. Yes, sir. I want to welcome everybody to Game 26 of the Real Racquetball Show. We want to welcome you to the show. We appreciate your taking time to come on and watch us. We have a fantastic show planned. Maurice, our guest, is going to be somebody I don't know if you've ever had a chance to chat with or not, but
I've not. I'm looking forward to learning a lot.
He has been in racquetball for a very long time and has made probably a bigger impact than most people across the country. It is going to be a real pleasure to have him on the show and talk about tournaments and his specific tournament coming up here shortly.
Okay.
So what's new with you? You've been playing? How's life?
Not as much. I mean, a little bit, not as much. You know, being that you got a couple tournaments coming up, I probably should get on the court. But being a father is the best thing in the world. You know,
Yeah.
so that is 100% my focus right now.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty cool.
Joy.
Well, one of these times you're going to have to make a special guest appearance.
Maybe we'll see. You know, he's gonna take the spotlight from me, and I'm cool with that. But you know, like he's just so cute. Oh my god, I ain't talking about all day. All right, we gotta have a show. I talk about it all night. I can't do that.
All right. Well, I look forward to it, and that's fantastic.
How about you, Mike? How's everything been?
It's been good. Very busy. We have a lot of things going on with USA Racquetball right now.
Yeah.
Several of them aren't outward facing quite yet, but we've got so many great things we're working on that will be public shortly, and I think everybody's going to really be excited about it. We've got some really neat things we've been working on for a very long time that are now wrapping up, and we're just excited and waiting for the opportunity to make the announcements and get everybody up to speed. And we hope the racquetball community comes together and we can really make some inroads into getting the sport back on its feet after this COVID thing.
Yeah.
So we're excited about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll be here to report it.
Yeah, and that's the plan. We've got a couple cool things we're going to do that we're going to bring right live to the community.
Good.
One of the things that we want to bring up about the show is we're still looking for those hidden gems across the country that are Braille racquetball champions.
Yep.
Those folks that are working in your clubs, someone that's doing a great job that has really kept racquetball alive through COVID, or is doing a phenomenal job kicking things off coming out of it. Send us those individuals' names. We've got 2 or 3 of them. With the show today, timing isn't right to announce the champion today, but we need all of the suggestions you can get. We want to honor those individuals. So send them your way. When you've got that name, send it just a short write-up. Send it to cshane at usaracquetball.com. Stuart will put that on the screen here in just a bit, and you'll have the email address to send that to. You can always text it to myself, text it to Maurice. Somehow send it to us. We want to see what those champions are doing across the country. So really cool. And as far as the show goes, be sure to share it. Share the feed, like it, tell people. This is going to be a really informative show. We need all the people we can to see it, so they learn as much as they can about outdoor racquetball and what board and 3-wall ball and all of the outdoor folks are doing to keep racquetball going during the shutdown. And now coming out of it, it's just kind of booming right now, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. An announcement about the next show, Game 27. Good grief. I keep putting these numbers in Game 20. We've done 27 of these shows now. Of the Real Racquetball Show, it's September the 20th.
Yep.
And we're making a small time change on it. We've heard back from some of our viewers that the time is too late in the evening, especially for the East Coast, that this time slot is a little bit late. And even for Stuart, the gentleman that runs the back of the show, is up in the New England area, and it's really late, and having a young one himself makes it a challenge for everybody. So the next show Game 27, September 20th. Mark your calendar. The new time will be 7 o'clock Eastern. So that's 6 Central, 5 Mountain, 4 o'clock Pacific. Okay? Mark those times. We'll have all that information out. We'll promote it out the week before. But 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific. Okay? See if that works out better for everybody. We appreciate everybody that watches live because you get a chance to ask questions and comment about it. But we also, the large majority of the people watch it the next day or two after. Getting 2,000 or 3,000 people watch it afterwards. So we really appreciate that. But we love having your comments, and Maurice and I have talked about it, and we're going to go to the comments live and shout out to the people that are there and answer your questions. So, there's one on there already. Did you see the comment on there?
Yeah, Holly. Yeah.
Holly Scott, fantastic. Thank you there.
Thanks, Holly.
Fantastic. All right, so put your questions in there. Maurice, do you want to introduce our special guest for the evening?
I don't think I can do him justice, but I'm going to do my best.
All right. So,
coming to the floor, we've got a gentleman who personally I've never got to meet, but I've heard nothing but great things about him. He's going to be running an event that I've heard about as many requests to go play of an outdoor tournament or any tournament in general that you should play. And as a tournament director, he does a phenomenal job. I've met him for maybe, can't really say a time, but we've got Mike coming to the show, and I cannot wait to engage in conversation because I know he's gonna, from what he was just saying, there's a lot of information that I didn't know about. As a non-outdoor player, this is gonna be interesting. Interact with the infamous Mike, who we see now right here. Yeah, I told you, couldn't do it justice.
To the show.
Hi guys, good to be here.
Come on, Mike.
So
Mike Coulter.
First thing I wanted to say was
Mike Wedel, Mike Coulter. Excuse me.
Yeah, you got two mics.
No problem. Hey, I wanted to reach out and don't have me talking over you guys all the time. I want to say thanks to USRA War for having me on this show, Maurice, Mike, for being in front of the cameras and doing this to help people know what's going on in racquetball, and Stuart behind the scenes. Right now, there's not a lot of shows on or information out there for players, and I thought it'd be great for me to come on your guys' show when you brought it up, talk about a couple things about our 3-wall ball event, and just a couple things we'll touch on lightly about racquetball as you give me a little leeway on that. But want to jump right in there unless you have a question for me first. I'll start knocking out part of the list of what I told you what I'd like to cover to let people know about.
Sure. Come on.
Mike,
floor is
yours. You bet.
All right. Hey, one of the first things is everybody listened great through the summertime, starting after the Huntington Beach tournament. Told everybody to be booking their rooms. Our host hotel right now, unfortunately, is sold out 7 weeks prior to the event. I'm trying to get a few more rooms, but it's looking pretty tough. We've got a number of events that have been piling on here in Vegas for the fall after the springtime changes with some of the things with COVID around the country and stuff still, and it's just gotten crazy. I mean, we also have, besides the 3-wall ball tournament, which we're expecting 600 to 700 players for again, and a few hundred spectators, which will put us at probably about 1,000 people again. We've got the EDC Dance Festival, 137,000 people. The Genius Convention has 60,000 people. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, we've got hockey being played with the Golden Knights. Sunday, we got the Raiders and the Eagles playing. And then there's also a pickleball tournament in town with 1,000 players in it. Unfortunately, we only have about 200,000 hotel rooms here in town, and they're filling up. I've checked with a number of places. They're sold out. So one of the things that I would tell people to do, start looking around and see what you can find online. I cannot guarantee that I'll be able to find any more hotel rooms at a discounted rate. If we do find some more, you can always make a cancellation, but we'll do our best to try to get some more rooms. But like I said, we've booked just a little over 900 total room nights for the event already this year. It's a good positive thing to happen. I wish I had another 300-400 rooms. We could be making an all-time record here, but that's kind of where we're at with that. On a positive note, if you can't make it to the tournament itself, IRT and LPRT will both be streaming this year. So you'll get to watch plenty of matches. The IRT will be doing the men's side, working on some of the mixed doubles, a few of the other special events we have. The women will be covering the women mainly, and the mixed doubles and sharing some of those duties, and making sure we bring you as much coverage as possible. Thanks to the USRA for helping out with that as well, and just trying to make it as good as possibly can for everybody viewing. That being said, the other good part about this event here, we don't charge anybody anything to watch. So if you can come in and find yourself a room and get some things comfortable, some Airbnb, doing that, we don't charge anybody to watch this event. Everything is free on a first come, first served basis. We rent a bleacher setup that seats about 300 people. And then we also have a few other areas for our sponsors and VIPs, but just a great time had by all. Last year, even with the restrictions, we cut it off at 600 and we were at 620 when we were done. We had over 400 racquetball players, 200 handball players, and about 25 paddleball players as well. Had about 75 people on the waiting list, and we could not let any more in. Speaking of COVID, I'll bring that up right now. The only restriction that is in here in Nevada is when you're indoors inside a facility, you need to be wearing a mask while you're in the facility, wandering around, gambling, doing stuff. When you're in a restaurant or a bar eating or drinking, there's no mask mandates. Outdoors, no mask mandates. But as things can change, we will keep everybody updated on it. Safety is our number one protocol here, just like it is at the U.S. Open. You guys just put a statement out about that with USA Racquetball. We got to worry about everybody's safety, but outdoors is supposedly a lot better for us, dealing with the health. So we're breathing fresh air and doing that. Last year was a really complicated thing, but we made it through that. And if we can make it through last year's, I think this year's going to be pretty easy to do again once again. So kind of going a little bit backwards, like I said, the LPRT and Dean and Pablo and Fabio, I think are going to all of them be here, but at least Dean and Pablo are for sure for IRT. Then on the LPRT side, TJ, JT, Jerry, and Todd Boss are also going to be helping out a little bit there, and Tim as well. I don't want to forget anybody in that group that's doing some things. What's the next thing that I should probably cover? Special events we have at the event. Starting on Wednesday night, we do a military charity thing where you can partner with one of the pros, play there for the MRF every year. We do some wheelchair stuff. We have heroes divisions. We do that on Wednesday night to have a great time with everybody. Then come Thursday night, it's our ladies' night social. After 7 p.m., we don't schedule any of the women to play, and the ladies all get together in the hotel in one of the bar areas and just kind of have a fun get-together. And then after about an hour or two of that, then everybody from the tournament, all the guys, everybody's welcome just to have a good time. Friday night, we'll end up having a social or ice cream being passed out to everybody there to have a good time. Saturday night, as long as the weather stays good, no problems with that, we'll have a pool party up on the deck at the Strat. And then obviously Sunday we'll finish things up. One of the other special events that we added to this year's tournament is the King of the Court. And when I say King of the Court, that's some invited guys that are friends of mine and pros that played back in the 80s and 90s. Just to name a handful of them, I'll tell you that are going to be here and committed. Marty Hogan, Charlie Brumfield, Brett Arnett, Dave Peck, Egan Inouye, Jerry Price, Doug Cohen, Craig Clubber Lane, Cliff Swain, Benny Colton, Rich Wagner, Todd O'Neill, Soul Street, and Scott Oliver. Egan plans on being here as long as he's got no requirements to go back home to Hawaii. And we've also had a few other guys that are going to be doing some of the qualifying of that too. So there's still a couple of spots involved in that. It's a great part of the event. Just another deal. And we also have the CPRT, which is the 40 and older division, which is a couple of the pro guys have now moved into that division. As you might have seen last year, Alvaro's moved into the 40 plus division, and so has Rocky. So that's kind of made a kind of like a seniors tour that they did in 10 years ago. But CPRT has been around for about 15 years, and that was just another group of friends and guys getting together. It was classic racquetball to be continuing the game and having fun. We've also got the handball, pickleball stuff, and paddleball here at this tournament. You can play up to 4 different divisions, doing different things that are here, and have a great time with it. This year in racquetball, we've raised just about $35,000 in total prize money in the racquetball side for the men and women. Handball will have some prize money in there as well, and so will the paddleball. The pickleball is just going to be an amateurs only part of the event this year because it's the first year we're trying to do it. So we're expected to be a small tournament. We just added it to be another part of the event to have some fun. Let's see, what else? Okay, sponsor-wise, hey, I'd like to thank KWM, Gutter McKeith, helping us out being the title sponsor. Then we also have AGE and ProKennex being the presenting sponsors. I'd also make sure that I thank Randy Root, Bella Vista, Roscoe, the Strat Hotel. It's nice to have ProKennex being a presenting sponsor again. Gearbox is the official ball this year, and Head is also joining the party as well. So the three major racquetball companies are all back in the event this year, knowing how important it is for racquetball for them to show their wares. And we build the stage, and now it's up to them to bring their players and have them all jump on here and go through things. So that was kind of a quick rundown of things. Now I can take a breath and let you guys think about a question or two to ask me that I might have missed on something more important to cover. But one other thing that I said, just always pay attention to the Three Wall Ball site. Any changes about COVID, we'll post it up on there. But right now, looks like we have very little restrictions this year. It's just when you're indoors, they ask you to be wearing a mask. Other than that, obviously, common sense has to be used at doing things. And I think it's going to be a great turnout again this year. By my room bookings and selling out 6 weeks in advance, that's the first time in 12 years of the event that we had to sell out before the event. Usually it was the last week or so before it would get up to that, 900 to 1,000 rooms. And we did it already. So it tells me there's a lot of interest in being here this year. And that's kind of it. So I'll take some of your guys' questions, or you tell me what's next.
Congratulations on selling out the rooms. That's phenomenal. I know it's a drawback to have it happen. It adds work to find more courts and more housing available, but it really is a statement to what you developed and what you built. And I think some of the people I've talked to were curious about how long you've been doing this and kind of how you came up with the concept to build all these courts, because Vegas doesn't have outdoor courts downtown. And so you decided, well, I can fix that. I'll just build all of them. And I know that people have asked me different places across the country about, kind of how you do that. Are you okay with them reaching out to you? Because I've got a couple people interested in possibly doing that in different places. So how long have you been doing this, and how did you come up with it?
The big thing was that I was doing the CPRT deal, and Hank Marcus was doing he started War Up about 13, 14 years ago and started taking advantage of that and asked me if we'd come down and be involved in a charity event that they had on the USS Bowman Richard, I believe is how you pronounce it, in San Diego Bay. And they built one half court and put it on an aircraft carrier ship. And then we had Brett went down there and played, and Clubber, who were both CPRT players at the time, went out there and did a little exhibition. And I said, hell, if you guys had a good time hanging out with Stephen Harper, who's with MRF as well, thought it was a great time being there and doing things for the vets. And I said, I'm in construction. If we can build one court, why couldn't I build 10, 15, 20 courts to do this and put it out in the parking lot? So I came back to Vegas, and one of our partners at the time was David Groman at the Strat, helping us with some indoor events that I used to do a lot of when I first got my start in doing racquetball back in the 80s. And Dave said, hey, let's walk around the property, see what we got. And we walked around, looked at a couple spots, and picked the parking lot right out in front of the Strat to do it. And said, okay, let's see what we got to do to make it happen. So we started talking to some people, and as we did it, I knew we could make it happen. Didn't share everything how difficult it was the first year, but I will at least say that I used my construction check the Friday prior to the event starting to go back to the lumber yard to buy more material to finish building the first 9 courts we did the week of the tournament. And the first year we did it, we had about 300 players with 9 courts being held, and we gave away about $10,000 in prize money. So it was kind of interesting, but it was kind of easy but hard at the same time. With construction the way we build here in Vegas, it was kind of an easy thing. But the other thing I can also tell you is we never bothered to put a court together until we put it together on the property, because of the fact of what the cost was and labor dollar of building it. So we knew it was going to go together. It's just like putting a puzzle together, and we were able to make that happen. And we've made some improvements. There's always room for more improvements, but at some point your checkbook only goes so far. Most people don't realize it. Like this year, we'll have about 19 courts total out there. for a 3-wall and 1-wall. We'll either have 12 and 7 or 12 and 5 in the 1-wall courts, and then we're probably going to put up 2 to 4 pickleball courts based on how many people sign up for that. But with that said, we're going to be spending somewhere in the neighborhood between $150,000 to $200,000 to put this event on. So next to the Open and what Doug spends and USRA spends, no other tournament has to create their own racquetball facility a week to play on and then tear it down. It takes us about 12 to 14 days to build it. And within 72 hours of the tournament ending, the parking lot is a parking lot again. So this is a parking lot, and we make it into a racquetball facility for a week's time for everybody to come out and play. Like I said, it's with an unlimited budget, we could do many more things, but we bring in some Connex boxes and we build staging up on top of it. So our streaming platform, so up there looking down on it, we bring in a 300-seat area for people, bleachers to sit and watch. There's pop-up tents all the way around all the courts. I think you have a picture of it. Maybe they'll be able to post that up before we're done, showing you an aerial view of the courts. And it's pretty awesome. It's kind of like having a tailgate party. Instead of a football field being in the middle, it's all racquetball courts. So I really got interested in doing that because we started losing some of our indoor courts here. And when I was lucky enough in the 90s, we had a couple of facilities that had 10 and 12 courts. I could run major events, but now we're down to one facility that has less than 5 indoor courts, and it's hard to get any numbers in on there. So it makes it pretty tough. But with this outdoor event, we also bring in generators. So we light it up. There was a couple of the first years when we had 12 and 14 courts. We started playing at 7 in the morning, and we finished at 4:35 in the morning. Steve went over to the hotel, grabbed a warm milkshake with Hank in the coffee shop, and took a shower and came back out and started playing. Now that sounds late, but Maurice, you're a youngster, so you don't remember it. But Houston Pro National, or the Nationals they had there was many a times matches got played around the clock. And I was also lucky enough in the 90s when we did the Pro Nationals at the Las Vegas Sporting House. There was a couple of years where we'd start on Friday morning at 7 in the morning, play all the way around the clock on Friday night into Saturday morning, get done about guys coming up to court 5 o'clock in the morning, and the 6 o'clock matches, the people are coming in there to play because we had 700 players play in 2 or 3 divisions. So you times that, so like 2,100 matches to be played over a 4-day period. How do you make it happen? You got to play some long hours. But the good part is for the people that are on the West Coast, it's great to play at midnight. Not so much for the East Coast guys because that's 3 in the morning. Yeah. But when you get to 7 o'clock in the morning, that's 10 o'clock in the morning for the East Coast guys, and a little different for the West Coast guys. But so your picture that you can see on the left is a complete aerial view from up on top of the Strat where the restaurant is, looking down on top of the courts. And the other picture is a drone picture that flew over there to take the pictures of the courts, showing you the kind of neat idea with the light lit up area that's there. You can see the 1-wall court on the very end, and you see the 3-wall courts there. On the top left picture, you see the 2 championship courts, and this year the 1-wall court is a straight angled court, that being there in the big bleach area there. So it's kind of a neat thing, and then all the little pop-up tents that you get to see around the different areas have, because you'll have people from Florida, from Arizona, from California, some people from Hawaii. Colorado will have a pop-up tent, and everybody walks around and just gets to greet each other and say hello. So I think I covered a bunch, and hopefully I answered when this started out for you, but I kind of got off track and kept going.
You're fine.
Now, the pictures are really great pictures, but they don't really do it justice. This will be my 3rd year being there, and the first year I went, it was, I'd heard a lot about it, and Dan had gone the year before, Whitley had gone the year before, and he came back and told me how phenomenal this was, and you've got to go. So this will be my 3rd year, and it was really impressive. Just that, and you go ahead and there's a parking lot, just a big giant concrete slab, and you built all the courts you needed. It's really cool. You've got to hand it to you that there's a problem, you didn't have enough courts, you just solved the problem and built a court. That's pretty cool. Yep.
That is a neat thing. I mean, obviously there's some restrictions with cash and doing that, but the good part about this, if we were able to revive racquetball and get it to where I could put 40 courts out there if I needed to, and be able to shrink it back up and doing that. And that's saying some of the same things we've even talked with handball before. hey, if we got really big, we would let racquetball do one weekend and have handball do the next weekend.
Right.
It kind of changes the atmosphere there because it's really neat seeing these great athletes, whatever sport they're playing, whether it's pickleball, handball, paddleball, or racquetball. It's just neat seeing these guys, the best at their games, do it. You can watch football, you can watch gymnastics, watch the Olympics. When you watch the best players at each sport participate, it's a lot of fun and it can be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and I love the aspect of having the handball and racquetball together. I've been friends with our handball community in Kansas City area for many years and really liked them a lot. So getting a chance to go there and see some of the Kansas City players play and watch some of the best handball players and walk around the corner, watch the best racquetball players, and paddleball still fascinates me. I got to go to Huntington Beach for the first time this year and watched a lot of paddleball out there. And that to me, that kind of solves part of the challenge that some people have with racquetball being too fast and things too fast. Paddleball is a great alternative to it that's played on the same court, and we're just looking to save courts. So if we can get people playing racquetball, paddleball, handball, and you do all three of them in the same place, that's just such a neat concept. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it became a real neat idea to come up a few years back. By the first year we brought handball in, the second year we brought paddleball in. And paddleball got some neat little groups together. They got a nice group down in the San Diego area. Back in Michigan, they got another nice little group for indoors. And then the outdoor paddleball part of it's pretty big in New York area. And then Florida's also got a nice one. They all play by a little bit different set of rules, but it's another great game. And the most important thing that you said there is we're all playing on the same courts, so it allows our numbers to be bigger. By our numbers getting bigger, it'll hopefully draw more interest in what's going on. As we watch a lot of people chime in with their thoughts on how to fix racquetball, what it's going to take is a huge amount of numbers, and the huge amount of numbers starting to play, and we need to draw outside sponsorship, not from within racquetball, and not just our friends of racquetball. I'm lucky that I've grown a bunch of friendships over the years, and we have some friends that kick in, but we need real corporate sponsorship dollars. Until we make that stuff starting to happen, the players, the pros need to have the big dollars to chase after to be a pro player, starting from when they're a junior to going into the pros. Same thing, USA Racquetball handles a lot of the amateur stuff, but your marquee event is the U.S. Open. So you do cater to the pros as well. But it takes the number one, for the players to have a real reason to want to play that before they commit to other sports, they need to be having a goal where they can at least pay their bills in doing that. So we need outside corporate sponsorship. You don't see just the Ford, Chevy, and Dodge supporting NASCAR. It's Coca-Cola, it's Budweiser, it's Coors. It's all these other national brands that are supporting it. And I think that racquetball, in the same way that NASCAR has, they've got a lot of brand loyalty to it. They'll continue to help support the people that support the events. One of the things that the clubs miss out on, I don't work in a club anymore. I just build my own for a week so I can do what I want. And that's another reason that I built my 3-wall ball courts, because I got tired of listening to the owners of clubs that would turn around and pay aerobics directors to teach people to stand in a spot and jump up and down, but they wouldn't pay a racquetball director or a pro to continue to pay for their leagues, for tournaments, and dues. And we all know the racquetball players are probably one of your most loyal dues-paying revenue sources in a club. But the ownerships have kind of lost sight of that. But that's a little bit of my own personal opinion once again. I did work in clubs for 20-plus years. I managed a sporting house for over 7 years before I left there. They changed that building into something else now, so that for the people that have been here to Vegas, they know what the sporting house is now. It's unfortunately a bar with some other entertainment there, but I'll leave it at that. And that's just kind of where it's gone, because a liquor license stayed with a hotel or with a property here. It's like every old school gym that was ever around, we had the bar, and it was a place to socialize. Nowadays, people go to a club. It's even rare people end up having the time to go and take a shower and leave. They're just come there, get their workout in, lift weights, do whatever, and they're gone out the door. Back in the older days of racquetball, you built relationships there. You turn around and had other trips I mean, there was times where when I did shootouts at the sporting house, I'd have all these people there. The wives would get to come down and sit in the restaurant. We'd have sushi night on Friday night. They'd have that while the husbands are all playing racquetball. I'd have Friday night shootouts with 50 to 75 people in them. The wives didn't mind meeting them there. They'd get to have a snack, catch up with each other, and then the husbands get done playing. They shower up, and then they're heading out for a nice dinner or a show. It's kind of gotten lost in some of our stuff with racquetball now. So we've got to get the clubs to buy back into it. We need to take better advantage of the parks playing and the fact that kids can go there and play and then get back into the collegiate area before they're getting into the regular part of a job of doing things, so that the quality of play can be up there again. And we need the government to step up, just like they do in some of these other countries, and subsidize some of these young pros to make some things happen. You know, and that doesn't happen in this country because, unfortunately, we have 1,000 sports you can play here, and maybe in some of these other countries they don't have quite as many chances. You know, one of the things the last thing that I'll pick on here is people point out the cornhole games going on ESPN television. Well, guess what? You're not looking at the guys that make the boxes or the bean bags. You're watching the show from Jacksonville Brats. They're selling Brats, the major corporate sponsor that's paying for that to happen. And as you guys all well know, everybody thinks, hey, it should all be on free TV. Well, you go on ESPN, you're paying for that slotted time. Even for our streaming, even though we don't charge anybody to watch it, there is a cost related with, you know, Dean and Fabio and Pablo doing it, and TJ and Jerry and Tim doing that. And, you know, you guys support stuff from there so that all the people can watch this for free.
Right.
So there you go. There's a little bit of my rant.
There's a cost. Hey, and I appreciate it. You're preaching to the choir. I hope that everybody listens to what you're saying.
Enough people hear. I think not enough people hear that from the general public's ideas when you see some of these thoughts there. So sorry. I just got to say, obviously I've got an opinion on it because I've been around racquetball for 30, 40 years. You know, we can't reinvent the wheel all the time, but we got to do some things better than what we've been doing.
Yep. Could not agree more. And we've got a lot of things in the works that we're anxious to get out in public, and I think it's going to help a ton. So, but until then, we've got a couple really cool events coming up, 3-wall ball being one of them. And you mentioned all of your sponsors you have. You've done a phenomenal job getting sponsors to support your event, and some of them are, you know, just friends of racquetball. Others are equipment manufacturers, those type of things. But we do. There's a lot of work being done, and part of the conversation about handball, paddleball, and racquetball, we formed an organization because the voice is a lot louder, the three of those sports together, than it is just racquetball going or just handball going and talking to sponsors, because all they care about is eyeballs watching the event. So an event like yours that brings all three of those together is really a cool concept that I hope others will catch on to around the country and bring in some of those other sports and get the numbers up. Sponsors want to see numbers. They're not as interested in a tournament that's got 100 people in it as they were one like yours that's got 700 people in it. When you add all three of those sports together and put pickleball in that together, it just adds up the numbers. So it's a great concept. And how long ago did you add those other sports in?
Well, we started the entire event 12 years ago. The first year we went to handball knowing that, hey, we could bring some more excitement with it. The players being there and bringing the numbers up being the first year of doing it. And then the third year we brought paddleball into coming into the mix. And this will be the first year that we've added pickleball to being here. We would be doing more things with the handball group. WPH has been a big supporter, and they still back us behind the scenes. They've just kind of pulled back their reins on their organization while this COVID stuff's been going on indoors and doing things. But WPH has been a huge supporter behind the scenes. They've done things with us in the past with ESPN3. Back in a couple of those years, we had some unique viewing weekends. We had 500,000 viewers throughout a weekend of playing. And that was mainly because of the WPH organization that had a relationship with ESPN. So they worked with us, and we paid for some things. So what I was able to do is bring the event to them, and that was a big added plus because nobody in handball has been able to build the courts in a parking lot like I have. But on the same side, they were able to bring us a promotional aspect of it, and it helped out racquetball and gave exposure. So it's been great. We got a lot of top players in all sports, and And like you asked there a little bit earlier, so far already this year, we've got a number of people. We've got about 175 to 180 people signed up for the tournament. As racquetball players go and handball players, they've got a number of weeks left to sign up, and they booked their rooms. But in racquetball, men's doubles, women's doubles, mixed doubles, CPRT doubles, and singles, we have all the defending champions committed to coming back to this year's tournament already. And a large number of the other ones are all saying they're going to come here. Obviously, a couple of the other players from across the borders have to watch as we get a little bit closer. But we've had some requests for some letters to their government saying that this is an international event, and we request their participation to be here. So they're looking forward to that as well. So that part of it's pretty neat.
I know watching last year, there were a lot of really great matches to watch last year, and knowing that those champions are going to be back, it's only going to get better this year. So, all right. Well, anything else you want to add before we wrap up the show, Mike?
One of the things I forgot to start in the beginning was congratulations to Maurice on him being a new parent. So I guess that's going to interfere with him a little bit being able to come out to this year's event. But I hope that unless you are able to make it to this year, but if you're not, hopefully you put it on your radar for next year. As much as you love racquetball and watching you talk about it at different events and on this show, you would have a phenomenal time here. And probably when you got home, you'd want to sleep for 2 or 3 days, because you're one of the guys that's like a gym rat, but you'd be a rat out, a court rat in the positive way of you would not be able to catch enough viewing here, watching all the racquetball, handball, and everything going on. You just want to be taking it all in, going, this is unbelievable. Starting at 7 in the morning till midnight, just loving it all. And I mean, knowing the athlete you are and the spectator and fan that you are, you would love it all. And the good part is, you'd be playing out there on the courts with these same guys, because I know that's what you do at that same level. You haven't played much outdoor maybe, but, you get out there, the guys come in. We'll start having people coming in on Tuesday night to be hitting on the courts and playing, and we won't start till Friday. But usually on Tuesday and Wednesday night, there's anywhere from 100 to 150 people throughout that day and evening. They'll be on the courts practicing out there. They make it a week-long event.
So how about this? If I'm able to go next year, we playing doubles together?
I don't think you realize that I weigh 300 pounds, and you having to carry me around the court might be a tough thing to do. But I tell you what, I will hook you up with one of my friends that are a little bit better than I am to hook you up and play with. Somebody like a Brett Harnett or a Clubber Lane or a Marty Hogan or one of the greats in the game that would give you an opportunity to have a great time. Or, some of the current players that are out there playing, at the level that you're at. But a lot of these guys that do some fun stuff out here, and it's just a great time. It's a lot of fun. Dan Whitley is going to be playing in the charity doubles this year. He's playing with Michelle De La Rosa in there for them to get an opportunity to play together. So I know last year, to bring it up, Kane ended up playing with Gary Durbin, one of his longtime friends. Would never get to play in a tournament with him, but since we had the 100+ division, he had that choice to partner up there. So yeah, there's some neat things. I appreciate the offer of playing with me, but the guy that I play with sometimes now, still once in a while, I had an upgrade from Brett, because Brett, being the great player he weighs about $190 soaking wet. I had to switch over to Craig for a while, which he was at about 250 and hit the ball a ton. Now I got Soda Man, which is Rick Cole, but he pushes about 285, 290. So we're usually team 600, and not too many people can beat us on the courts. And anytime that we get close, a ho and a chocolate milk pushes you right over the top of being at 300+ pounds again. So it's like when people say they want to see you jump off the building at the Strat. I don't know if you've seen that in the deal, but you can only weigh 275 pounds. So luckily, anytime that I get close, it's a chocolate milk and a ho-ho or a ding-dong or some kind of Hostess product to make sure I push myself right back over it, because I'm not jumping off of that building 1,100 feet up in the air.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so I'll see if I can fly in earlier before the tournament. That way we can play together for a little bit.
Absolutely. Have some fun. It's a great game. Luckily, before to leave this out, the hotel for the previous years, for 8 years, when they had a different management team in there, I had 2 courts around the back. But they're actually getting ready to renovate the property, and they took that area down because it's part of the Tesla stuff, possibly. We've got some of the underground car stuff going on and new innovative ways. So some of the properties are being used for different things. We've been there for 12 years. We thank the Stratosphere for their Stratosphere, and now it's the Strat for their support all these years. The Strat going forward is making some innovative new things to happen in town, I guess is a way of putting it. And they might be using this parking lot that we have for the event. So for some different things that are going on. So there's some other options that would go there, but the Strat's been a super partner for 12 plus years, and we're thankful to have them. We're thankful to have WAR and USA Racquetball and obviously LPRT and IRT and the long list of sponsors that I had involved. We couldn't do it without them. People don't have any idea how much it takes to get these other sponsors involved in things.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'd love to see you out here next year. I know Mike's going to be here this year. I mean, I'm sorry you can't make it this year, Maurice, but maybe down at Beach Bash, because I'm going to be probably helping Vic out a little bit more down there in March, but we'll be announcing more of that after I get through this year's tournament here. But we also obviously support the Beach Bash event and Huntington Beach in July. Two other phenomenal events for outdoor. Those are our big three outdoor events, and I like to look at us here in Vegas as the granddaddy of outdoors. We get to play second fiddle to the U.S. Open for indoors, but they've been around for 25. We've only been around for 12. So I hope we do as good a job. And one of the things I'd be mistaken here, I'm the mouthpiece tonight, but I have a full team of people that make this happen. And it's a team effort. They're not a staff. They're a team of people that do it. And I could never do this without everybody working together. Usually I'm the guy wandering around in the back and just let them take care of doing things. But I have a huge team that makes this happen, from racquetball to handball to paddleball to pickleball. Everybody is phenomenal in making it happen. I wouldn't start mentioning names, but Peggy is our event director again this year. And then, like I said, we've had other ones in the past. We thank them all for being part of this event.
And Peggy's in the comment box, so she's watching. So we want to thank Peggy for watching. Tim Baggers is watching, and he's been he's going to be there this year streaming. So he's excited to see what the event's going to look like without as much COVID restrictions. So I think everybody's looking forward to that. Peggy says, thank you. Steve Castleberry, appreciate you watching. You're right. Outdoor racquetball's got a big part to do in the future of racquetball. So we're gonna push them both and make them happen. Maddie, Melendez, saying hi to Peggy, hi to racquetball. So we've got a lot of people watching, and everybody appreciates you coming on and talking to us, Mike. But I think we're probably ready to wrap it up, and we appreciate you coming on. All the great information. Always love talking to you.
Yeah.
You've always got a terrific insight into racquetball, and you're one of the great people that's not afraid to say what you think.
One last thing I'd like to say, 3wallball.com. You guys can go on there and keep checking for constant updates of what's going on here. Any questions you got, shoot us a quick question. We'll obviously get back to you within, as soon as we possibly can, hopefully within the same day, if not very most of the next morning. But any questions you got, please don't hesitate to ask. And if we can help you get something done to help make the trip easier out, please ask. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Great to meet you, Mike.
Appreciate your time.
Can't wait to meet him in person.
Oh, yeah, you really have to. Mike's a great guy to hang out with. I got to spend a lot of time with you both at 3Wall Ball and then also out in Huntington Beach. Just one of the nicest guys you'll meet. Truly is, and passionate about racquetball. And as I said, he will not mince words with you. He will tell you what he thinks.
He did. And it was what I did like was it wasn't just filler. There was information almost everything he said. It's for someone who hasn't been there. I mean, he really spoke of it quite highly.
Well,
obviously, I'd wish I can go this year. I'm not going to, obviously, for reasons, but I can hopefully plan for next year. Maybe she'll make a special appearance out there too. You never know.
There you go. It's one of the cool things about so many people go to tournaments for more than just the racquetball event. They want something else to do that's going to be fun to do. A lot of the memories you gain from racquetball aren't necessarily all from on the court. Well, going to Vegas and staying at the Strat, literally across the street from where he builds the courts, it just doesn't get much better. It is so much fun. Vegas has got everything going on. You talk about all the events. So there's something for everybody. Whatever it is, shows, parties, sports, whatever it is that's
Yeah.
going on there. Well, that was really cool. Yeah,
That was awesome.
we'll have to work on it and see if we can't make a plan to get you out there next year, and
Yeah, man.
you can talk to Troy, and you guys can come out and play doubles.
Yeah. I definitely got to play out there. Troy's a much better outdoor player than I am, for sure.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to watch. You guys would be you'd fit right in because the atmosphere is so different than an indoor tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's so social. Everybody's basically on the court with you. Where when you're in an indoor racquetball court, you're in the box, and there's people watching from either glass or the top. Whatever. This is so different. It's one of the things that really stunned me about going to outdoor was everybody's right there around you. They're catching the ball for you and throwing it back to you, and they're just part of the game. There's cheering and screaming, and it's a different atmosphere. Anybody that hasn't done it, you really got to go see it. When I went up to Huntington, it was even a step above what 3-wall ball, because there were tents right up next to the courts.
Mm-hmm.
So if you hit a ball and it got past somebody in a pass, it ended up in somebody's tent. They put their drink down, throw you the ball, and off you go again.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. So
you're right. That's definitely not an indoor. That's definitely not.
No, it's a different feel, and I appreciate everybody that talked me into going out there a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. So, Carrie Reitmeyer's watching. She was at the first.
Him, Eddie.
Yeah, Carrie was at the first event, first year. Be there. We're gonna be there this year also. Well, good. We'll see you out there, Carrie.
Mike definitely called my age out though. He was like back before you were born in the 90s. I was like, oh man, just okay, you got it.
Well, he will call you out on just about anything he can. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, we probably ought to wrap this up. We've been going for about 48 minutes now. So
it's okay.
I know that was a lot of fun. Mike's so much fun to have on. So much good information. But probably ought to wrap it up. So if you've got any questions, certainly send them to us. If you've got a question about USA Racquetball, about WAR, about the US Open coming up, about 3-wall ball, and you're not sure who to ask, send it to us. We will get you an answer and bring it to the show, because if you think about it, someone else may be asking the same question. So we really want to answer your questions on the show, and we will tell you exactly what it is you want to know about it. So, all right. Remember about game 27, September 20th, time change, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. So tune in. If not, watch it the day after. So also watch for the newsletter. It'll be out in another week or so, around the 15th.
Yeah.
A lot of great information that we've got a good team of people working on that, and they put a lot of work into constructing that newsletter and getting all the information put together for you. So we're always looking for articles. If your state's got something going on or just want to write something up about what racquetball is growing and doing, send us an article. We'll see if we can't get it into the newsletter for you. All right, Maurice, it's been a lot of fun again. I ain't seen you in a while.
It was great. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait. I know it's going to be fun like it was always fun.
Yeah. Good deal. Well, everybody have a great night. We appreciate your time. If you've got questions, send them to us. Otherwise, get out and play some racquetball and teach somebody else. Teach somebody the game. That's how we're going to grow racquetball, is bringing new people in. So grab them, put them on a court, make them play. They'll enjoy it. All right. Good night, everybody. Good night, Maurice.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.